I can't quite put my finger on it, but this episode reminds me of something. There's just something about it. I'm just not sure what that something is. Anyway, let's get to it, shall we?
Will you stop the clatter, you bubble-headed booby?
Hit me.
The Outer Limits.
In an isolated military outpost in the Arctic, Major Brothers has apparently gone insane. Racked by hallucinations and a dread certainty that the base must be destroyed before it gets attacked by an unknown creature. After he fails to blow the place up with a freshly delivered suitcase nuke, Brothers is taken to the brig. Meanwhile, the resident shrink, Dr. Hamilton, is conducting an experiment with a mind meld machine that happens to be playing the intro to The Outer Limits on one of its screens. After he syncs his brainwaves with those of his secretary, Ingrid, he learns that she is madly in love with him, but she realizes that his only love is for science, not hot lips. Later, Hamilton then sees Brothers at the urging of Colonel Campbell. Campbell. I wonder if he's named after John W. Campbell. You know, that sci-fi giant who wrote that story that got turned into that movie? You know the thing I'm talking about, right? Dr. Hamilton discovers that Major Brothers is a deeply broken and paranoid man who suffers not only from a bad case of sunflower seed addiction, but also from intense guilt about something that happened on, quote, the isthmus, unquote. Side note, isthmus is a weird word and hard to enunciate. Anyway, the Major is going on about how the whole base is under threat by a creature he refers to only as a thing.
You believe that I saw it? The thing?
Therefore, Hamilton, as any good psychiatrist would do, decides to run an experiment on the disturbed man, one that definitely hasn't been cleared by the FDA. He hooks himself to his patient in the mind meld machine in order to better understand his psychosis, but wouldn't you know it, right as they're joining minds, the base is rocked by an earthquake, disrupting the experiment and throwing them aside like underage incels trying to bum rush a bouncer at a swanky dance club on ladies' night. When the two men awaken a few moments later, they find themselves in a Freaky Friday situation, where their minds have been completely swapped. Before Hamilton, now in Brothers' body, can reverse the process, Brothers, in Hamilton's body, calls the guards and has the other man taken away to be heavily sedated and locked away in the brig. When Hamilton insists that he has swapped bodies with Brothers, it only confirms to the guards and the other doctors on base that he is, indeed, insane. Brothers then meets up with Colonel Campbell and contrives a reason to visit the suitcase nuke from earlier. As he is very slowly shown the Rube Goldberg-esque mechanism by which the nuke is unlocked, Hamilton's secretary, Ingrid, becomes suspicious. Proving she is the true hero of our tale, she quickly figures out what's going on and executes a prison break for Hamilton so that he can stop Brothers. They collide in Hamilton's office, where Brothers fatally shoots him in the chest. As he starts dying, Hamilton urges Ingrid to hook the two men back up to the machine so they can swap back, which works just in the nick of time. Brothers dies in his own body in a convoluted case of accidental suicide, and Hamilton faces the most baffling question of all. How could an incredibly hot young woman like Ingrid be in love with a crusty old scientist like him? I freaking love this episode, so much so that it might actually be my favorite so far. It's exciting, well-paced, and very well acted. That said, I can see how it might frustrate some viewers who take its opening scenes at face value, assume there's a Mountains of Madness-style creature feature at work, and then get disappointed by the whiplash of it actually being about body swapping. As much as I love a good Lovecraftian monster tale, the uncertainty of where the episode is going adds to the tension, and the fact that, spoiler alert, the Major has really gone mad with guilt over the largely unexplained death of a compatriot is a nice bit of psychological character work. As I see it, if it had gone the other way and shown that Brothers was right all along, it would have been more cliché and less interesting. I also like it for toying with the conundrum of what makes us who we are. There's an argument to be made that Brothers and Hamilton don't actually switch bodies, that the mental swap is really just a total rewiring of their brains to make them believe they've swapped, complete with a lifetime of memories and learned behaviors. This makes the scene where Hamilton in Brothers' body is sedated while proclaiming his identity all the more existentially terrifying, and I can't get enough of that kind of stuff. If anything, I wanted the episode to lean even more into it. Anyway, that's all I have on the human factor. Now, as always, do all those YouTubey things and check out my Patreon. And all that other good YouTubey stuff. But until next time, this is the Unapologetic Geek telling you to never be ashamed of what you love, as long as you're not hurting anybody.
Round the rugged rock, the ragged rascal ran.